It all started with this crazy, ridiculous proposal, got me all fired up. Hey, it's Kevin Amol's Pine Financial Group, where we work together so you succeed. Hey, you found us here on Facebook, you found us here on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe, and leave some comments below. We'd love to interact with you. We're really trying to build a community here to help you be more successful. I want to talk today about the stimulus plan. Do you remember the $1,200 that you got if you make $75,000 or less in a year? Well, there's a lot in the news right now about round 2 of the stimulus plan. It all started with this crazy, ridiculous proposal, got me all fired up, came out of course, Bernie Sanders. Who else? Here's what the plan was. How about you get $10,000 every single month if you make $120,000 or less in a year? And that's everybody. So we're just going to start giving everybody $10,000 a month. Well, let me break it to you, Bernie. You can't do that. Here's what happens when you put so much money into the system. You actually hurt the people you're trying to help. Now, I understand that there's some separation of wealth here, and it's probably not such a bad idea to help the lower class and help the middle class. But when you pump in this kind of money that we're doing, all it ends up doing is hurting the lower class and the middle class, and here's why. There's 2 reasons. First, interest rates. Interest rates will go up. It's whenever you have an inflationary time, interest rates goes up. So let's talk about that. What happens if interest rates go up? Well, your savings accounts, you'll make more money on your savings accounts, right? So most lower class and middle class live paycheck to paycheck. They don't have a lot of savings accounts, a lot of money in the savings account, so they're not going to benefit from this Bernie. But I'll tell you who will, the rich. And then higher interest rates. Well, that's going to limit borrowing. It's going to increase the payments on your credit cards. And who's carrying the credit card debts, Bernie? It's going to increase your car loan payments. It's going to make it harder to buy cars. And who needs loans to buy cars? Bernie. And then it's also going to make it harder to buy a house. So we're going to be stuck renting. Who does that actually help? Who does higher interest rates help? Well, possibly it helps the wealthy or the upper class because they benefit from higher interest rates and things like savings accounts. Now let's talk about the inflation. What happens? We have to pay all this money back. If you're putting that much, no matter what money you put into the system, you got to pay it back. But if we're putting $10,000 a month per person into the system, Bernie, who's going to pay that back? Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be inflation because you can't raise taxes too high because it's political suicide. So what we do is we're going to tax the American people, a little tax that most people don't even realize is there, and that's inflation. It's tax everybody the same. So we're going to be increasing prices on groceries, your milk, your eggs. You're going to be increasing prices on your gasoline at the pump. Your rent's going to go up. Your property insurance is going to go up. So let's think about who does this help. Well, it's the people without assets. The lower class and the middle class. They're going to be paying more at the pump, guys. And who does it help? Well, it helps the rich or the wealthy because they have investments, Bernie. Their investments are going to increase. They're going to get more from their oil investments, and their real estate investments is going to go up. Their rent's going to go up. They're going to have money in the stock market, and the stock market will increase, and you're going to have bigger dividends. So all we're doing by pumping money into the system at this ridiculous rate is hurting the people we're trying to help. Whew. Okay. That plan did not go through. Okay, so I can calm down. What is going through? Well, it's called the HEROES Act. The HEROES Act is now through Congress. It's in the Senate. The bad news possibly is it's not going to really get much traction in the Senate until later in July. They're saying second, third week in July, and it's going to change a little bit because of the Republicans control the Senate right now, and the Republicans have some issues with the HEROES Act. And the reason for that is it's larger than the CARES Act, the big CARES Act that had so much money going into the system. So this is a tad larger than that. But it is going to provide another round of stimulus to everyone making $75,000 a year or less. And it's going to be, as it's written right now, $1,200 per person, including children. And it also expands that to be $1,200 for adult dependents and anyone with a tax ID number. So even if it's not a U.S. citizen, but they're paying into the system, they will also benefit from the stimulus plan. So that's fantastic. The pushback, of course, is another $1,200 a month check. Really going to do much good, especially in an economy that is recovering. We all believe that there's some recovery, or there's some signs of recovery at least. So there's some more things possibly coming in the future, because this is just one more check. Some other things is it's going to be a hazard pay, which I really, really like. It's going to increase the pay for people that have hazardous jobs. So your police, your cops, your firefighters, your grocery store workers, and obviously the medical field. People who are at risk for COVID-19 will get an increase in pay. Now this is great because this helps incent people to go back to work, not decent people to go to work, which is what part of the CARES Act did with the $600 per week bonus for being unemployed. Oh yeah, the HEROES Act extends the $600 per week for being unemployed. So now we're disincenting people to get back to work again. So that should extend through the end of the year if it passes the way it is. Some other, maybe not as important for our viewers here, is there's going to be some student loan aid and forgiveness and deferments. They're going to be pumping money into loan servicers to help with all the forbearance agreements that we're seeing. They're going to increase forbearance agreements to non-government sponsored loans. And then here's some of the stuff that's a little bit scary for real estate investors. There's going to be some rental assistance. So the good news is they're going to give people who can't pay their rent money to pay their rent. So that's fantastic for landlords. But they're also going to put a moratorium on all evictions across the country. So you can't evict someone even if they don't pay rent. So my question is, why would we put a moratorium on evictions for people not paying rent if people who need the support can get the support to pay rent? So I don't quite understand that. I have a feeling that's going to get some pushback in the Senate. What's the other one? Debt collectors. They're going to be helping the debt collectors because those guys are hurting right now. A lot of people are not paying their bills, so they're going to pump some money into that. And there's some other things too, but the big ones are the rent support, and then obviously the $1,200 per person bonus check, stimulus check. Finally, some of the argument here is, well, the one-time check is not enough. Our people are hurting. We need to support them. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. So there's 3 proposals right now, and they all 3 are pretty similar in that they want monthly checks until the pandemic is over. And they're all around $2,000. There's some variations there with dependents and spouses and that kind of thing, and duration. But they're all around $2,000 per month until the pandemic is over. And wouldn't you know, Bernie Sanders is behind one of those proposals. The crazy thing is that Bernie's proposal is the least costly of the 3, which really surprises me because for some reason, Bernie, you like to spend money when you don't have it. So that's the update here on the second round of stimulus. Hope you found the video helpful. If you did, please hit subscribe, hit like. We'd love to interact with you. Leave some comments below. Disagree with me, agree with me. I'd love to interact with you. And be sure if you have any hard money lending needs, we're here to help you. Check us out, pinefinancialgroup.com.